I'm Dr. Amy Murdoch. Thank you for your interest in the Mount St. Joseph Reading Science program. In this brief overview, I will give you some information about the different program options we offer here at Mount St. Joseph University. We offer an Ohio Reading Endorsement, a dyslexia certificate, and a master's degree with a concentration in reading science. I will also go over some information about our program, quality, components, faculty, and the format of our courses. Then I will talk about costs and the application process. In terms of program quality, our program has gone through a number of different important reviews. The first one was by the Higher Learning Commission in 2011. They specifically looked at our reading science program shortly after it was developed. In 2012, the International Dyslexia Association accredited us, and we were one of the first programs in the nation to be accredited by IDA. In 2019, IDA reaccredited us, and this time accreditation was looked at in terms of two levels, accreditation and accreditation plus. Our program was reaccredited at the highest level, the accreditation plus level, and we were granted a certification for our students to be able to get certification through IDA's Center for Effective Reading Instruction, where our students have a pathway to get the Structured Literacy Dyslexia Interventionist or the Structured Literacy Dyslexia Specialist, which is part of our dyslexia certificate program, which I'll talk about in just a moment. There are a number of program components that I want to briefly mention. The first one is our program is fully online. So you do not need to live in the Cincinnati area where the university is located in order to participate in our program. In fact, we have teachers and educators across the nation in our reading science program, and even some in other countries. Within our coursework, we include LETTERS professional development modules. LETTERS stands for Language Essentials for Teachers of Reading and Spelling, which is really wonderful professional development that we have been able to include in our first two courses. Additionally, we have partnered with Acadience Learning to include Acadience training. Acadience is assessments that can be used for students in preschool through actually grade 9 now, and we've been able to embed their training within some of our courses. Acadience was previously known as DIBBLES. We also, within our program, have a sequence of courses that teach Orton-Gillingham multisensory structured language training. Our reading science program has 4 full-time dedicated reading science professors. Myself, Dr. Amy Murdoch, I serve as the program director as well as teaching within the reading science program. And then we have Dr. Elizabeth Corbo, Dr. Wendy Strickler, and Ms. Jan Maltinsky. You can see from this slide that our professors possess a range of different experiences and specialties within the area of reading science. In addition to our full-time reading science faculty, we have the privilege of working with a number of wonderful adjunct faculty, developers and instructors, as well as outstanding supervisors. All of our supervisors for Orton-Gillingham and the other practicums all have gone through our program as well as gone through additional Orton-Gillingham training at the supervisory level. We also have really wonderful reading science students. Our students are professionals who come to us from a variety of different backgrounds. Many have extensive experiences themselves and come to us from all over the country. So I think one of the great benefits of our program is that we attract really outstanding students, that we learn a great deal from each other as well as from the faculty members leading the courses. Our courses are set up in terms of semesters, but we have our reading science students do 2 courses across a semester, but one at a time. So you do one course for 7 weeks, then you get a little break, and then you do a second course for 7 weeks. This does allow for a graduate student to focus on one set of courses and one instructor more intensely. The courses are accelerated because we take a 16-week course and put it into 7 weeks, but we have found this to be a preferred format for the busy educators that we serve in our program. We do have a couple courses that break this rule of kind of the 7-week rule, and those courses are mainly our practicum courses. So 591 is our Orton-Gillingham course, our continuation of Orton-Gillingham, and then 594 is our advanced practicum course. The other exception is the master's thesis course, EDU 604. Those courses do run across the full 16-week semester. In our program, we have 3 program tracks: the Ohio Reading Endorsement, Dyslexia Certificate, and the Master's Degree. All 3 program tracks share the same initial 5 courses. So we talk about this as our reading core. So these 5 courses, as you will see, are taken in all 3 program tracks. The Ohio Reading Endorsement has the 5 courses in the reading core, as well as RDG 504, Children and Adolescent Literature. So the Ohio Reading Endorsement is 18 credit hours, or 6 courses. In addition, the state of Ohio requires that teachers getting the Ohio Reading Endorsement first have to have an Ohio license, and second, have to have a prerequisite of 12 hours of reading done typically in your undergraduate coursework or a mix of undergraduate and graduate coursework. This is required in addition to the 18 hours of the reading endorsement. Again, most people have that already from their teacher preparation programs. The Ohio Reading Endorsement does require a specific test at the end of the program, the Ohio Educators Assessment Reading Subtest 1 and 2. And here on this slide, I have the web address if you want to get more information about this test. The reading endorsement does also require some documentation of hours across different grade bands. The Ohio Reading Endorsement is a K through 12 endorsement, and so there are requirements to document hours in each of the different grade bands. These hours are obtained through our coursework. So we have purposeful activities within the courses that you can capture hours. So there's no need to do additional practicum work outside of the 6 courses that we've outlined. In addition to the things I've listed here already, all of the programs require that you complete some additional requirements, which include a background check, membership in a professional organization, and attendance at a professional conference. And when you go through orientation with us, we give you lots of suggestions about how to accomplish the membership and the conference requirement. If you are a current teacher and hold a teaching license, we can waive the background check as long as we have a copy of your license. If you are not a current teacher, then you will need to get the background check. The dyslexia certificate is 21 credit hours, and again, it includes those 5 core reading courses. In addition to those 5 core reading courses, you have 2 other practicums. The first one is RDG 591B, and that's really a continuation of our main practicum within the reading core, RDG 591, which is our Orton-Gillingham practicum. So you begin RDG 591 in the first semester, and then you continue it, gaining more practicum hours in 591B. Then there are 2 additional reading courses beyond the core for the dyslexia certificate: Advanced Phonics and Linguistics, which is our advanced Orton-Gillingham course, and then RDG 594, which is an advanced evidence-based practicum. The dyslexia certificate does also require a test, and we require the K. Perry test, which is the IDA SERI exam. And information about that test can be found on this website. Again, we do require the conference and the membership and the background check if you're not a licensed teacher. And then finally, you do an application to Mount St. Joseph University in order to obtain your dyslexia certificate. The dyslexia certificate meets all the requirements, and we have been approved to provide a pathway for our students to get the Structured Literacy Dyslexia Specialist through IDA's Center for Effective Reading Instruction, or SERI. This is not required to get the Mount St. Joe dyslexia certificate, but you do have everything you need in order to get the specialist level certification through IDA CERI. This just requires an application through CERI, which we will guide you through. The master's degree is 33 credit hours. So again, it has the 5 courses within our reading core. It also requires the 504, the children's literature course, which is also required in the reading endorsement. 532, which is our advanced phonics and linguistics, the advanced Orton Gillingham, which is also required in the dyslexia certificate. RDG 592 is a unique practicum to the master's degree, and this focuses on vocabulary and comprehension. RDG 542 is also unique to the master's degree, and this is a reading comprehension and writing instruction course. And then the 2 graduate core classes that you will take for the master's degree, statistics and research, and the integrated research project. This is your thesis. And in our master's degree, the thesis is a literature review. Which you have questions about, please contact me and I can tell you more about that. For the master's degree, we also require a final test. You can take the K. Perry, or you can take a state test. We also have the additional program requirements and an application for graduation to Mount St. Joseph. Many students combine a number of program tracks. As you can see, our courses kind of all fit together. And so many students, if you're an Ohio teacher, you might do the Ohio reading endorsement. You might also do the dyslexia certificate as well as the master's degree, and they all flow together. With the master's degree, you will have all of the coursework required for the Ohio reading endorsement and almost all of the coursework for the dyslexia certificate. There are 2 unique pieces to the dyslexia certificate that are not part of the master's degree, and those are our 2 practicums. The continued Orton Gillingham implementation, 591B, and then the advanced evidence-based practicum, 594. We have a number of practicums across our different program tracks, so I want to briefly talk about each one. The first thing to know is that all of our practicums, because we're an online program, are going to require students to video their teaching and upload it to share with their supervisor. We use a really wonderful video platform called Edthena. And on this slide, there is the Edthena website, and there's a little demo that demonstrates how this works. It has been very user-friendly, and we've had great success. So check this out if you're wondering about how the practicums will work. Edthena is a secure video platform. That's why one of the reasons we chose it. And the nice thing is your supervisor can embed feedback to you within the video, so you can see exactly at the moment that she or he has given you some feedback. Again, we have had great success with this, and it's a nice way to share your teaching with your supervisor, as well as sharing amongst each other and see different people's teaching approaches and successes and challenges. We do have student permission that we ask for you to get, and you are going to need something that you can videotape yourself as you're teaching. Most of our students just use their smartphone or kind of an iPad type device. So now I want to just quickly go over each of the practicum that we do within our program. The first one, all program tracks will do this. This is our basic Orton Gillingham training. This is Orton Gillingham training with a practicum. It is done, as I said, across the full 16-week semester. With this practicum, you will work one-on-one with the student, and you will implement Orton Gillingham after learning it and work with a supervisor to become better at implementing Orton Gillingham. The student that you work with in this practicum is going to be a student that is working on basic phonics skills. So typically this is a child in kindergarten or first grade, or it can be an older student who has significant concerns with decoding and needs support in basic coding. Again, much more information about this will come as we get closer to this practicum. RDG 591B is the practicum that just continues on your Orton Gillingham practice. So this practicum will follow your Orton Gillingham practicum, and you continue working with the same student. This requires you to keep working with that same student that you worked with in 591 and extend your practice and extend your supervision with that student. This practicum is a pure practicum, meaning there's no additional coursework. It's you working with your supervisor to become stronger in your implementation of Orton-Gillingham. This practicum can also be an option for people who are interested in IDA, Center for Effective Reading Instruction certification. If you do our core reading classes plus 591B, you could have a pathway to become certified through IDA CERI at the level 2, the Structured Literacy Dyslexia Interventionist level. So this would require, again, our core reading classes as well as 591B, and then you would take the K. Perry test required by IDA CERI, and you could apply to them to become certified at the interventionist level. RDG 592 practicum. This is specific to the master's degree students. This is done in your current placement. So if you are a classroom teacher, you can do this in your classroom. If you are somebody who works individually with students, it could be done individually or in a small group. This focus of this practicum is on vocabulary and comprehension instruction. So you'll be learning some different vocabulary and comprehension instructional techniques, and you'll try them out with students. The final practicum and the largest practicum is RDG 594. This is for students seeking the dyslexia certificate. This one requires you to work across 2 semesters, and we have some specific requirements that are all linked to IDA CERI's Level 3 Structured Literacy Dyslexia Specialist certification. So for this practicum, you're going to work with 2 students, each for 24 weeks. So again, across 2 semesters. One of the students, you're going to focus on multisyllabic word reading, and another student, you're going to work on vocabulary comprehension or written expression. So you have some choice there. Across these 2 students, one of the students does need to be a student in middle school or high school. We often get asked, how much time does it take to complete each program track? So this slide outlines the typical time frame it might take to complete a program. The Ohio Reading Endorsement is typically done in 3 semesters, doing 2 courses each semester, or 1 year. So that's in bold. Spring, 2 courses, summer, 2 courses, fall, 2 courses. The dyslexia certificate is typically done across 6 semesters. So here is outlined in parentheses. So spring and summer would follow the same plan as the reading endorsement students. In the fall, dyslexia certificate is in parentheses there, and you would only take 591 during the fall because 504 is not required in the dyslexia certificate program. In the spring, dyslexia certificate students would do 532 and 591B, and then in the summer, they would be off. Some students may start their 594 practicum in the summer and continue it into the fall, but typically students would do the 594 practicum across fall and spring. The master's degree students take 6 semesters to complete if they're following, again, the cohort plan of 2 courses each semester, and those students would take spring 505 and 540, summer 530 and 538, fall 591 and 504, spring 532 and 592, summer 542 and 500, and then in the fall would be EDU 604, which is your master's thesis that you would have the full 16 weeks to complete. As I mentioned earlier, each program does have additional program requirements. So here they are outlined all on one slide. So again, this is for all of our 3 program tracks. And if you were doing multiple program tracks, so say you're doing a master's degree and a dyslexia certificate, you just need to complete these requirements once. So we have a new student orientation that begins about a month prior to your start. This is a online orientation that orients you to the university and gives you information about our program specifically. We also ask that you attend one professional conference during your time with us. This can be a local or a national conference. We also do accept online conferences, and we provide you again with some examples of how to accomplish this requirement. We also require that you join a professional organization, and again, we give you information about which organizations might work best for reading. And then all of the programs do require a final test. Some of them are specific, like the Ohio Reading Endorsement. You have to take the Ohio Reading Test. The Dyslexia Certificate does require the IDA K. Perry test. The master's degree, you have some choice. You can do the K. Perry, especially if you're doing the Dyslexia Certificate, so you only have to take one test. Or if you're not doing the Dyslexia Certificate with your master's degree, and if there's a meaningful test in your state, we can accept that. This slide outlines our current tuition costs as of the 2019-2020 school year. Currently, our tuition rate is $610 per credit hour. All courses are 3 credit hours. The only exception to that is the RDG 591B, that's the continuation Orton-Gillingham course for those seeking the Dyslexia Certificate. That course is a 0 credit hour course. It does include a supervision fee, but no credit hour fee. And I will talk about the fees in just a second. Here we go. Additional costs beyond tuition. Obviously, there's a cost for books. In addition to books that you'll purchase for each course, we do have a couple courses that have fees, and these are our practicum courses. 2 of our practicums, 591 and 592, just have the technology fee, which is $120. That covers your license for Edthena. A couple of our other practicum courses, 591B and 594, because those are continuation practicums or bigger practicums, they have a supervision fee with the technology fee for a total fee of $585 for those 2 classes. Across the year that you're enrolled with us, there is a graduate student fee, which is $250 per year currently. And this fee is broken up in terms of when you're charged it across fall and winter. This slide outlines our typical application deadlines. Typically, we accept students on rolling admissions until we are full, and we can accept students up until a couple weeks before classes begin for that cohort start or that semester start, if we are not full. So if you're for sure you want to do this program, it's best to apply earlier, so that way you can guarantee a spot. But check with us. If we're not full, we would love to consider your application even close to the application deadline. Our application process is pretty straightforward. It's all online, so if you visit our website, you'll see our online application. In addition to the online application, we ask for a letter of intent and 2 references. Just the contact information for their references. You do not have to have them write you a letter. I will reach out to them to get their information about you. Current resume, and then transcripts, official transcripts from any graduate work you might have, as well as from your undergraduate. We only require the GRE if your undergraduate GPA is below 3.0. We do consider graduate work with your undergraduate GPA in terms of considering if you might need to take the GRE. If you have any questions about that, we are happy to review your transcripts and let you know if the GRE would be required before you apply. We do also require a background check that is required after the first course. And again, if you are a current teacher or educator and have a license, we can accept that in lieu of a background check as long as it is current. If you have any questions about the program, please do contact me, Dr. Amy Murdoch. Here's my email and my phone number. I would be happy to set up a time to talk with you about your specific questions before you apply. In graduate admissions, the person who works with the reading science applicants is Kim Rosen. And we're so lucky to have Kim because she's also a graduate of the program. So she knows a great deal about the program as well as can help you with the application process. So contact her if you have any application questions, and she will help you out. Thank you so much for your attention. And again, please reach out if you have any questions. Take care.